happens again, we will reschedule. But let's pick up where we got to. So where we got to was this. I was just talking through for this, not there, for here, that this fictional business that's doing just over 700,000 top line, only making 33,000. If we could help them increase their average price by 20%, then that would add on an extra 142,000 to bottom line profit. You know, they only had 33. They got an extra 142. After taxes and things, 104 grand in extra cash. Wow, that is possible. Okay, so they might say to you, yeah, but what if I lose some clients? Well, if you put your price up by 20%, you could lose business. But if you price in the right way, as many of you said when we did the last stream, that you can increase your prices by 10, 15, 20, 50%, sometimes double. But let's just be conservative. Let's imagine this business implemented the system that you're talking about, and they still did lose 20% of their clients. They would still, if you do the math, and you're the numbers experts, they would still be 63,000 bottom line profit better off. That's the power of pricing. And you said that you're finding that effective pricing is helping you to get anywhere between 10%, 50%, and for sometimes double the prices for some services. And your clients can get exactly the same results. So that's the opportunity for your clients. So let's also think about, well, what's the opportunity for you? It's great we can help our clients, but of course, when we help our clients get extraordinary results, we deserve to be extraordinarily well paid. When we add huge value, we deserve to be paid. So how do we tap into the opportunity? Well, we can be the heroes. We can help people price more effectively by putting in place a pricing system. So that's what we're going to look at in the time that we've got together. Of course, if you've got questions still, put the QQ in front. I will have some time for questions, I believe. But here's what we have to think about. Okay, if we're going to help our clients with pricing, and if we're going to use effective pricing and put that in place, the first thing we want to think about is, how are we going to package it up? What are we selling our clients? And one of the things I want to get across to you is that we're not selling them a software tool. We're not selling them a software tool. We're selling them so much more than that. We're actually selling them something that will deliver a result. And some of you were saying that in your firms, like Jessica, you're getting on average more than 50% higher prices. So why can't your clients get those same results when you help them? You're helping them get a result. Okay, the software is just a tool to help them get that. So where our value comes from when we're working with clients, our value comes from helping them with pricing at a broader level, price consulting if you like. We can add value by setting them up with the system, with the software. We can add value by helping them create pricing models. We can add value by helping them create proposals. We can add value by giving them support, as well as, of course, the access to the software. So the value we're creating for our clients is more than just giving them access to a piece of software. Now, I know there's some people who said to me, I didn't know clients we could put the software in our clients' businesses. And the answer is yes, you absolutely can. And we're going to be, because some people are very excited by this opportunity, this possibility, this is just going to be an overview, and I'll show you some brand new resources, but there's going to be a lot more stuff coming your way over the weeks and months to come on this, if this is something you're excited about. So let me know. So the first thing we have to do is think about, what are we selling? How might we package that up? And give the client a series of choices. You know about menu pricing, bronze, silver, gold. So let me just move across to here. Let me just switch across. So one of the first things that you'll want to do is think about, what might you offer the client as a pricing package? And those of you that are in the Value Pricing Academy will know I talk a lot about creating pricing brochures. So I have on the screen, and this is hot off the press. We are building these resources right now. This, we haven't finished reviewing it yet. It came back from my designer, from Stephen, you may know, of Noir, literally this morning. Okay, it really is hot off the press. So one of the things we want to think about is, what might be our different types of clients that might buy? And so we want to come up with 3 different avatars, 3 different types of clients. And I've put some wording here. I'm not going to go through all the wording now, because what I want to do is give you an overview today of as much as I possibly can. And then what we'll do is each of the various elements of today's training, we're going to go deeper on. And I also want to answer questions like Janine's question as well, which is a great question. I have seen that, and I'm just going to star that, because it's a great question, Janine, and so I don't miss it. And then what we do is on our one page, we start to build out our packages. So what I've done for you, because a few people, so this is a one-page brochure. So what I've done for you, and you'll get this, I don't know if you'll get it today or not, but we'll get it to you as soon as possible. We will do another session and we'll walk you through this in more detail. So there'll be resources, and if you're in the Value Pricing Academy, there'll be a lot of content coming your way over the weeks and months to come. So the first thing I want to think about is what might be our bronze, silver, gold. And so if you know the software, you'll know there are 3 versions of the software: the starter, the full, and the pro. But if you're looking at this, you might be thinking, hang on a second, Mark, something's missing here. This doesn't make sense. It will do. So I've created 3 options, a full, and you could call them what you want, but I've called them a full package, a pro package, and a pro plus package. This is what you would offer to your clients. And what you would do for your clients, this is my suggestion, you can change it, but I would suggest that you offer them possibility analysis. That's where you just play with some numbers. That's what we just did. If you've got Profit Diagnostic, you can use Profit Diagnostic. If you're a Value Pricing Academy member, use that software. If you're not, a simple Excel model, just simply saying if a client does $500,000 in sales and they increase their average price by 10%, then that goes from 500 to 550. That extra 50 grand of sales goes down to bottom line profits, because changing price doesn't impact on costs. So you can do maths quite simple if we're just looking at the pricing piece. Also, what you would do is set them up with the software and branding, because as you may know, if you've seen the software, if you use it, you'll know that you can put your own logo on it. You may want to do some training. Now, what I would recommend in terms of training, we'll go into this deeper, but let's say, and you will see soon the opportunity for you. You can make a lot of money out of this, okay? Wait for it. I'm going to show you the sorts of money that I believe you can make from this, and it's eye-watering. And one of the things that I would recommend you do, once you've got more than one client using the software, maybe have 4 or 5 clients, why not train them by, say, once a month? Basically doing what I'm doing. Just go live to your clients using the software and show them a few things and answer their questions. Those of you in the Online Live Academy will be confident about that, because I'm training you to do exactly that, to be comfortable with going live, comfortable with the fact that sometimes power cuts happen and we just have to deal with that, which we can. It's fine. We just have a plan. So you might do some live training. It's a suggestion. You might have a pricing strategy meeting where you meet with them to give them some ideas about pricing. You might talk about the benefits of bronze, silver, gold approach, for example. You might create a pricing resource center. That could be simply some recordings of previous training sessions you've done for your clients. And you might do a regular accountability call where you ring them up once a month and say, how are you getting on with the software? Can I help you anyway? What more help can I give you? And then they get the software itself. Let me come back to the software. You might also give them unlimited email and telephone support if they have issues with the software. And then if they want the premium one, I've got various trainings here. So if you've done my price consulting training in the past, you'll have huge amounts of content I've taught you where you can have a premium service where, as well as setting up on the software, you meet with them, let's say once a month, and give them one-to-one training in various aspects of value pricing, whether it's about menu pricing, communication, and so on. Now, the software itself comes with 3 options: the starter, the pro, the plan. And you'll see that in this, I've only got the full and the pro. There's no starter. And that whether they go for and the difference between Pro and Pro Plus is the software's the same, but you do more training. You might be thinking, Mark, why have you done that? And you will see this very soon, because it's 2 reasons. One is we're not selling software to clients here. We're selling a solution, a result to help them to get an increase of average prices of 10, 20, 50%, which can be a big number as we saw from that small little example just now. So number one, we're not selling software, we're selling a result. We're selling them, transforming their business results through price. And secondly, because this is something that nobody's ever bought from an accounting firm before, because accounting firms don't do price consulting and have software and stuff, they have no idea what the price should be. And so we price based on the value, which is why doing possibility analysis, by showing them what's possible, by using a tool like Profit Diagnostic or doing an Excel spreadsheet to show them what's possible, that gets them excited. And if you can help somebody potentially add, as in that example I showed you, small little business could add on an extra 100 grand in additional profit just from a relatively small increase in pricing. That's the value we're creating, and we should price based on that. But what we also want to do, though, because they've never perhaps bought any form of pricing advisory work, we want to create what's called an anchor. And some of you will be familiar with this because you've done my training and you know about price psychology and the power of anchors. And so the way that I've designed this, and you'll see it in a short while, is we designed the Pro Plus one to be an anchor. Not that we want to sell it, but if you do, that's great because you'll get a bigger fee and you'll just have to do some training. But what we're doing is creating the anchor, the value perception, so that they are more likely to see value in the full and the pro, where there's not a lot of work you need to do. Okay, so that's the first step. Step one is, what are you selling? What might your packages be if you are offering a pricing service to your clients? So the next thing that we want to think about is, okay, so how do we come up with the price? How would we price this sort of service? And what I'm just going to do is, and what I've done, which will be being rolled out fairly soon too, if you have the software, watch this space. One of the things that I've just built for you to start using is a ready-to-use model. Now, I just need to, just bear with me a second, because of the power cut, I got logged out of the software and I just need to log back in again. I have done that. So I'm now in effective pricing. So if you've never seen the software before, this is the software that enables you to price pretty much anything. And I've got this set up to price bookkeeping services, cash flow forecasting, business advisory, all sorts. But I've added a brand new model, which I'll be sharing with you soon. It's at the bottom here. It's called Effective Pricing Installation. So let me open it up. So what you would do is you'd go through with the client, you'd get them excited with some possibility analysis, play with some numbers. You could add an extra 100 grand to your bottom line profit if you price more effectively. Then you would talk about your packages, that one-page brochure I showed you, and get them to think about which of those three levels they want. And when they say, yeah, I want that, that's what I want, we then talk about price. And this is where we open up our laptops or our iPads, your computer, whatever, and we would go through and answer a few questions. Now, you will see that this is a fairly simple model. There's not many questions, and we don't need to have many questions. So the first question I've got is, what is the size of your business? And I've got some ranges here. Let's imagine we've got this business that was doing 700,000. So we'll go with that range. Why is that the first question that I've put into this model? Well, you know, if you've done my teaching, that the first in the software, the price is building up based on the order of the question. So the first question is the most important question. And the first question either wants to be the primary scope factor. So where you've got a service with a lot of work, like bookkeeping, that might be number of transactions per month. In this one, setting up software, there's not a lot of scope. So another way to think of it is, rather than the primary scope factor, what is the question that might best indicate the value to that person? Because the greater the value, the higher the price should be. And if we can help somebody increase their average price by, let's say, 10% by putting in place a system and some training, then if we think about it, if you have a client that's doing 100,000 in sales, a small little business, 100,000, and we can help them increase their price by 10% without losing customers, that's an extra 10 grand in profit. Very nice for that client. But what about another client where they're doing 1 million and you can help them increase their prices by 10%. That adds 100,000, not 10,000. There's more value. And so my suggestion to you would be, if you're pricing a service like this, the price should be based on the size of the business. The bigger the business, the more scope to add value, and therefore the higher the price. We're selling a result. We're not selling software. So hopefully you're now starting to realize where the opportunity comes in for you. So we might have some other questions. We might remember on the bronze, silver, gold. I showed you there was a strategy meeting. You might give them a choice as to, do they want a 2-hour session with you to talk about pricing before you set things up? Would you like a full day training session? Would you like 2 days? The client might say, do you know what? Yeah, a full day is really neat. We'll go with the full day. And where would you like to meet? Online, or would you like to come to your offices? Yeah, if you could come to our offices, that will be, no, we'll meet somewhere else. We'll meet at a hotel. Okay, great. So we can then ask another question. One of the things we can do is when we set people up with the software, what you'll also want to do is help them build their pricing models, because it takes a bit of thinking about to do that. They won't have any idea how to build a pricing model. And also you might want to help them create their proposals as well. I'm going to show you 2 of these in a short while. Yep, we're going to have time. So how many pricing models they want set up will depend on the type of the business they are in. For example, if you're talking to a legal firm, they might be thinking, do you know what, I could do with a pricing model for our will writing service, our contract negotiation service, and they might have 3 or 4, our divorce service, whatever it might well be. Some clients just might need one service, okay? The one that I've got in mind has one, and you'll see it in a short while. And also they might want more than one proposal template, but usually one's enough. If they want more, that's fine. Price goes up, okay, as you'd imagine. So it's just 4 simple questions we ask the client. And then what we do is we can remind them what our 3 options are. And they've probably seen your brochure and they said, yeah, I want the middle one. That pro one looks like the right one for me. Now, interestingly, the way I've done this, and you can change it, by the way, I've put the cheapest one as most popular. You can change that. There's a reason I've done that. We'll come on to it. There's a lot of price psychology going on here, so watch this. Just bear with me. So we get to this page, and those of you familiar will know that at this point, once the client, we can use this page as a final opportunity to ask the client, which one do you think you would like? Oh, I'd like the pro one. Okay, we'll select that. We'll highlight that. Now we reveal the price. 12 payments of $1,285. Have you got that? 12 payments of $1,285. Would your clients really pay you $1,285 a month for a piece of software that you probably buy from me, unless you're in the Value Pricing Academy, for a couple of $100? Yes, because we're not selling software. We're selling a result. We're selling a solution. We're communicating the value of the solution to our clients. We're going to help with everything. We're helping them get a result. If this client, when you play with the numbers, believes that, yes, they could increase their average price by 10% with the right help, and that adds on 100,000 to their profits, then 12 payments of 1,285 for you to do all of that for them is a great investment. Now, of course, if that is too high, we can always offer the full option. Perhaps the client says, that's a bit out of my budget. Perhaps the 1,065 is the one that I want to go with. Also, we can always go back and change things. So it may be, for example, that they can't afford that. So let's go from a full day strategic meeting to 2 hours. And let's meet online, because that'll make life a bit easier. So we can go backwards and we can change things. These are the preference questions. That brings it down to just $765 if they go with the full option. So we created an anchor with a higher price and we've come down, okay? Now let's go back to that question about, well, what about the starter level of the software? Because you know there's a starter level. They don't know this. If that price is too high, one of the cool things we can do with the software, as you may know, is we can actually have more than the bronze, silver, gold. So I've actually created 5 options in this model. There's a reason for 5. It's the psychology and so on. So what we could do is we could offer an option, which is the starter level of the software, where they don't get as many things. And for many clients, that's probably sufficient. They don't need more than 10 clients. The starter is a great place to start. And so you only need to reveal this if the client can't invest 12 payments of 765. That might be too high. If it is, that's fine. We could offer them a starter package. And we've created this anchor now. They want this because we've got them excited with the communication, the brochure, the results they could get. They're excited. They just can't afford $1,200. But now as a $395 option, yes, that sounds exactly what I want. I can afford $395. Okay? And yet, you know, the starter packages in dollar terms is about $30, $35 a month. So you can see the margin here for you is quite significant. And all you're really doing is setting them up with it. And you've got a recurring revenue stream. Recurring because you're there to deal with any support they need. Okay, this is extremely profitable. And if you really want to, if that price was still too high, you could have a trial version. You could have another one up your sleeve, which you can reveal if you want to, but you don't have to. Okay, so there's some things I've built into this model for you that you can use with some of the psychology. We're creating an anchor first, and then if necessary, if the client can't afford it, we can work down and we can change things. Okay. So we could go with a price anywhere between, let's say, $1,200 right down to $300. Somewhere in there, the client's likely to say yes if we've done the numbers and showed they could potentially add 100 grand to their profits every single year. Okay, are you getting the opportunity right now? The opportunity to change our clients' lives and get extremely well rewarded in the process. Okay, so I've built that model for you that you'll be able to use. That will be available in the pro and full plans of the effective pricing software fairly soon. If you're in the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy, Value Pricing Academy, you will of course get that, and I will let you know when that's available. I just want to check a few more things. It'll be very soon that you'll get access to that. Okay, so the next thing we want to think about is, so we've know how to price our, we've got our packages, we know how to price it. Another thing we want to figure out, how do we communicate the value to our clients? How do we communicate the value? Well, already we've touched on one aspect of that, and that is we use numbers. Use some numbers to show what's possible when we make changes to their prices, okay? So Profit Diagnostic, if you're in the Value Pricing Academy, you can use the Profit Diagnostic software. If you're not, you can do numbers on an Excel spreadsheet. Paper and pen works really, really well as well, just for playing with some numbers to show what's possible. And the other thing that we can do is, you'll know I talk a lot about having professional looking brochures. So that one-page brochure that I showed you, when we share that with you, we've just got, it's not quite ready yet, but when we get that to you, you'll get access to what I showed you, plus a Word version, so you could then get it designed with your logo. So it becomes your brochure, that one-page brochure. If you're in the Value Pricing Academy, then one of the things we are working on, and it's nearly ready, is we are actually creating a full brochure that you could use for building up the value of your service offering. So this is, I only just got this morning from Stephen of Noir, and if you're familiar with my pricing brochures, we've put in a lot of detail here designed to help you to build up the value to the client so they see you as being an expert in helping with pricing. And it's got all the things we've looked at, like the brochure, the packages, and so much more, where we use language to talk about the value to the client. So watch this space. There'll be stuff coming. There'll be more training on this. Today, I'm going to try and just get through as much as I can in overview and answer some questions, because Janine's got a question and Jessica's got a question. What I want to show you next, though. So we want to have a system to build up the value. Numbers is great. Having a brochure is great as well to demonstrate we are experts. We are confident that we can help clients get better results with their pricing. Okay, next thing that you will want to do is you'll want to demonstrate the software to your clients. And there's two options here. Option number one, of course, is you could demonstrate by showing your version. You could open up your version with your branding and show them how you use it to get better prices. So Jessica, you get over 50% higher prices. So that will be, you've got a great story to share with your clients. And you could do that. However, I think a better approach, and it's entirely up to you, but if it were me, I would get a second copy of the software as a demo account. Now, you only have to invest in the starter plan. You don't need anything more than the starter plan. So you could, with a different email address, set up a starter plan. And with that starter plan, you could brand it and set it up for an example fictional business. And so I'm going to show you one that I did earlier. And one of the things, if you like this idea, then what I will do for you, and I'm multitasking, by the way. I'm just re-signing in because of that power cut with another version, just so I can demonstrate and show you. So what I would do is I would set up a version with a fictional business. And part of the reason for that would be because then your clients get to see not just how you use it as an accounting firm, but actually how another type of business could use it. And interestingly, I got a mix between Kim and Jessica, and I actually meant Janine. Janine says, what sort of industries could use this software? Which is a brilliant question. Janine, I'm going to answer that question in a little while. There's actually a lot of opportunity. It's probably wider than you think. And I'm going to give you an example. So the reason I would have a demo account is because that way we can demonstrate we use it as an accounting firm, and also this client uses it in their business, and they're completely different. So having a demo account means that we can show our clients what theirs could look like and give them a better understanding that it's much wider, its application, than we might think. So I'm going to use a real business. Some of you who've done my price consulting training in the past will know that I've used this case study before. I'm a big fan of cycling. I cycle almost every day. I go out on my road bike. I cycle 5 times a week and do about 200 kilometers a week on the bike. So I love cycling. I understand cycling. So I kind of know how what I would do if I ran a bike repair business. And this is a real business in London called Have Bike. I don't know who they are. I've just used them many, many times, because they run a mobile bike repair business. And interestingly, since I last did a case study on this, their business seems to have gone up another level. Their website's really impressive with what they do. However, I think their pricing could be much, much better. But if I was to go to their... So you can see how their website looks. It's a great website. I like them, and the color schemes are really, really good. If I go to products and services, I've got their regular service, but they also have this compare services, where you can see this business is already using menu pricing. Look at this. This is a bike repair business, and they've got a regular service, a deluxe, and a super deluxe. Great. Awesome. They're doing some great stuff with their pricing. They could do it so much better. Because the only problem here is they've only got 3 prices. They actually have 6 if your eyesight's good, because they actually have a slightly higher price if it's an e-bike. That's because the scope of work to fix an e-bike is probably more because of the electrics. But what they should be thinking about is customers' willingness to pay, ability to pay. You see, if I was a customer coming to have my bike repaired, and let's say I was a racing cyclist and I had a £5,000 bike, would I be willing to pay more for my £5,000 bike to come out in pristine condition than if I was a father bringing in my toddler's little child trike bike? Of course I would. Different people are willing to pay different prices. And so if you only give 3 choices, you're leaving money on the table. This business could get much higher prices. Bear in mind, this is based in central London, where people have silly amounts of money. And people in central London, there's a huge cycling boom right now in central London, has been for a few years, and people spend silly money on bikes. I know people that spend $10,000 on a bike. Okay, $10,000 on a bike. They would pay a lot more than these prices to have their bike looking amazing. So how could this bike do something different? This bike repair business. They could, when a customer comes in, rather than take them to the website, they can open up their iPad in front of the customer. And what they could do is ask a few questions. So they could say, so I've set up, this is my demo version of the software, by the way. You can see I've branded it like this. This is a real bike demo repair place. If I do a bike repair, I would open up, and let's imagine I'm the customer, and perhaps I'm Chris Froome. Okay, you may have heard of Chris Froome. I would open my iPad in front of the customer who's just brought his bike in and say, so tell me, what sort of bike have you got? Well, I've got a racing bike. Okay, great, you've got a racing bike. Let me ask you just a few more questions. Do you want all your gear and brake cables replacing? Yeah, that would be good. Do you want a replacement chain? Yes, please. Do you want our collection and delivery service? That will save me so much hassle. Yeah, please do that. Are you in a rush? Do you want our guaranteed 24-hour turnaround service? Yes, please. Now customers are saying what they value, what they want, and we can now price based on that. Now, here's their 3 levels of bike repair service, and I might say, yeah, the middle one looks great for me. I'll have that, please. Great. Okay, that's just $305, which of course is much higher than what's on their website. But here's the interesting thing. You see, if I presented this, the most the customer can pay me is £199.99. Okay? If I do this, the customer might say yes to $305. Okay? 50% higher than the top package. The customer might say yes. If we don't offer a $305 option or pound option, the customer can't buy that. Okay? And if this was Chris Froome, if it really was Chris Froome, he'd probably say, actually, $590, I'll go with that. Actually, he wouldn't because he's got a team that does it for him. But anyway, either the customer says yes or they say no. And if they say no, it's not a problem, because if I was the bike shop owner, I would then go back to these things and say, do you really want 24-hour? Because if it's not that important, if you're happy to do it within a week, it will be less money. Do you want me to show you how much? And if we do, and if they say yes, it's only $255. Oh wow, I can't afford $305, but $255, do it for that, please. Yep, $255, which is still higher than what's on the website. But if that's too high, it's fine, because they're with the customer with their iPad, and then you go backwards and forwards and negotiate. Okay, you get the point. Let me move on, because I want to show one more thing very quickly. And so what you could do as part of your service offering, where you get paid thousands every single month, is you will set these models up for the client. And I can help you with that. I can give you advice on how I set this model up. But let's say the client says, yes, $255, that's the one I want. Okay, great. We select that. I've not built in enhancements in this case, so I'm just going to move forward, and the customer's really happy with this. So I'm going to complete the quote, and now I'm just going to create a written proposal for the client, and I happen to have a standard bike service agreement. And so if I just go, oops, I need to put a name. This is going to be a racing bike. It's a proposal for a racing bike, or a quote, an agreement. I'm not going to change it anyway. I'm going to go straight to the designed one. Emily, by the way, did this earlier. Emily, if you saw last week, she's amazing at designing these things. So you could create very easily something that looks beautiful, so that your bike shop can then produce the fee agreement for Chris Froome for his racing bike. Okay, and we can create this beautiful proposal in seconds, or at least our bike shop owner could produce this amazing proposal with all great branding that complements their branding in their bike shop, and so on. So that's why I would recommend that what you do is you create a demo account, you build a fictional proposal and a pricing model. And one of the things we'll do for you is we will create and make things like what I've shown you available. So if you want to use a bike business as a demo account, I'll build it for you so you can do exactly what I've done to get people excited. Okay, I'm going to, at this point, answer questions, because there's more we could talk about. And had we not had the power cut, I would have talked a bit about how we set up, how we can, once the client says yes, how do you set it up for the client? How do you set up pricing models? Lots more things I will be teaching you, but I want to answer the questions that have come in. So Janine said, what sort of industries could use this software? Essentially, any industry, any business where they can or should have a face-to-face pricing conversation. So a bike repair business could have a face-to-face conversation and ask some questions. Anybody in the profession, so it works for accountants and bookkeepers, as you know, but it would work just as well for lawyers, architects, web designers, any professional business that should have a face-to-face pricing conversation with their client. It would work for anybody in the trades businesses. So if you think about a landscape gardener, somebody coming to painter and decorator, put up fences at your house. Reza Huda did one once and used the software. Some of you know Reza. Reza built a model for a client that was a driveway constructor. So if you want your drive doing and they can give choices between, do you want tarmac, do you want slabs of whatever it might. Well, I'm not an expert. I don't know anything about driveways, but you know what I mean. So basically anybody, Janine, that can have a face-to-face pricing conversation, which when we start thinking about it is probably half your clients, if not more. There's a huge opportunity. Okay, Jessica says, what'd she say? Sorry if it was already answered as I was briefly disconnected. We were all briefly disconnected, so apologies for that. Power in Portugal. That's the second time this year. Will this model template be available in effect? But yes, it will. So if you want it, I will make it available. We're working out the best way to make it available. But watch this space. Absolutely, it will be. And what I'd like to do going forward, now I'm not going to give any promises yet, but I may well end up creating a suite of different models. So as well as a bike repair business, I might do a web designer. I might do a lawyer or something so that you could have different demos to demo to different types of people. Okay, let's go through. Big smiles from Kim. Thank you, Kim. Philip says you keep delivering extreme value. Thank you for that, Philip, that feedback. Jake Burns says, can we get access to the current version of the brochure? I'd like to use some of the language in my marketing. Jake, if you're a Value Pricing Academy member, we're going to figure out how to get it to you fairly soon. It's hot off the press, so I'm still figuring things out. If you're not a Value Pricing Academy member, we will make available the one-page one. That one-page one, you'll get that. You'll get access through effective pricing to those models I've shown you. So everybody will get something that will really help with this. And if you're in the Value Pricing Academy, you'll get even more still. And I'm going to be working on some training for you. What does Nancy say? Oh my God, the tri community here, their tri bikes cost as much as a car. I never had a tri bike in that drop-down list. I need to add a tri bike. Okay, you are absolutely right. They should pay higher prices still. David Colt says, today's topic is so relevant. I just met this morning with a wedding planner. I could imagine all of their pricing options my client could offer as part of their wedding planning. So absolutely. Wedding planner, great one. Yeah. What else? I'll ask you the question. What other clients have you got in mind? Put them in the comments box. Let me know. Wedding planner, what other clients can you think of straight away that could benefit from this approach to pricing? Because that might give other people some inspiration. Stick it in the comments box. We have actually gone 1 minute over, so I'm going to have to hurry up. So I'll do. Maybe this is, I think, the last question. Kim says, will there be templates based on industry? So Kim, the answer to that is I've got a bike repair business. I did that first because I understand the business from a customer's perspective. I know what should be and how they should price. I've never yet come up with a bike repair business who prices properly. There's a huge opportunity. Will there be other templates? I intend to create other templates for other templates. But of course, my limitation is my knowledge of those industries and how they work. So I have some plans for how we'll create some other templates. So watch this space. Jake says, I'm a member. When will it be available? If you're in the Value Pricing Academy, give us time to figure it out. It will be probably days rather than weeks because it's hot off the press. We've been working on it hard this week. And some of it's just come back today. So give us time just to figure out how to get it out to you, and we will as soon as possible. Parul says, what should I subscribe to? Value pricing or effective pricing? Which one covers broader spectrum of things? So Parul, the Value Pricing Academy is closed at the moment. You can't join the Value Pricing Academy. It's closed until start of December. We only open up twice a year. And because I spend my time focused on delivering value to Value Pricing Academy members. So your option right now is you can subscribe to the software, effective pricing. And then what happens is if you start with the software, and then if you join the Value Pricing Academy, one of the benefits of being in the academy is you get the software for free, so you can stop your payments and carry on using the software. So start with the software. Okay, some suggestions coming in. Ruth says a removals company. That's a great one. So I can see more financial advisors and so on. Okay, we are 3 minutes over. I normally finish bang on time. It's Friday. I would have done if it wasn't for the power cut. So next week, Next week, I think we might have Emily back because many of you said, go Emily, we want Emily. I think we'll have Emily back. I think that if you're interested, I might pick an aspect of today's and go a bit deeper. We didn't touch on today how to set up the software for clients, what sort of questions you might ask. So those sorts of questions, I know Teresa Slack asked me that, and I was going to teach some of it today, but we had the power cut. So there's a lot more I can teach you. I might do that in 2 or 3 weeks' time. We'll probably have Emily next week, and then probably the one after that, I might do some more of this if you find it valuable. We'll see. Okay, thank you so much for coming along. Sorry for the technical problems with power cuts. It does mean the recording is going to be a bit strange from this session because it's split in 2 halves. Anyway, we'll figure that one out. That's our problem. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll probably see you live at some point next week. And I'll leave you with some music as we play out so I can read the rest of the comments. Okay, goodbye for now.
I wasted all my time, I wasted all my nights, I wasted it on someone who's indifferent. He didn't love me right, he told me I was blind, but I never really wanted to listen.